Okay. Okay, great. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Irina from the Coventry University Architecture Society, and we also have here Alex, which is our guest host, who is also the ex-president of the society. Today we are having as a guest MVRDV for the second time, but represented by the Gideon Maasland this time, who is one of the directors. And we are looking forward to the presentation. Alex, please tell us more.
Hello, my name is Alexander Spięta, and as Irina mentioned, I was the chair of the society. Now I'm helping a little bit, as it is always a great pleasure to come back a little bit. And before we start, I just want to say a few words about MVRDV and its guidelines. I think that everyone follows in your office. If I'm not wrong, please correct me. But there are three main ones that you follow in general in your projects, and this is sustainable, future-proof developments, social developments, and collective development. Sometimes it's flexible design. Of course, it changes based on the contextual approach that it's over there. But Gideon is one of the leading designers in the office, and he's the one who actually creates, he takes these concepts and actually takes it to the reality. And he's the architect of and main director of few projects. And as I said, one of the very first is the Valley. The other one is, for example, Grotius Towers, Jack's Brewers in Utrecht. And one of my favorites and very close to my heart, it is Baltic Tower in Poland. And we hope to hear about this and what are the impacts actually of the skyscrapers, as it is our main topic for today, which is vertical cities. Thank you and enjoy.
All right, thank you for the nice introduction. Let me start sharing the screen. I hope it's visible for everybody. Let me know if there's anything.
Yes.
This is indeed where our name is coming from, MVRDV. And we have a bit over 300 people working at us with different nationalities. We run from Rotterdam, the head office. We have several other offices, and we are cut up in 8 design studios, and I'm leading one of them. We have projects indeed around the world, making it very interesting and very diverse. And this is our head office in Rotterdam, which shows how we are and how we work and how we see life. So it's open, it's light, it's transparent. No, it's social. You see here the lunch table that is filling up 3-4 times every lunch. It's a bit green, and yeah, it's also colorful and playful even. And yeah, that's also how we approach life and architecture in general. We do quite some research and exhibitions and that kind of stuff, apart from the work that we do in architecture. We do a lot of research in the Technical University in Delft, where we started the Y Factory, and I brought one of these research, and I will explain a bit of that. We try to address global issues because we work all around the world, but we try to do that in a very specific way. And we use, you were telling about sustainability, that is one of our primary goals. Definitely, this is a very big game changer for us in the last 3-4 years. That from something that was also part of architecture, it's now more or less the only thing that is part of architecture, and it starts and ends with sustainability. We have quite some scope that we do. It varies from architecture to urbanism, interiors, all kinds of installations, that kind of stuff. And yeah, we have a variety of projects. Today I got project number 1300 for a new one. We cannot address all of them. I saw that in the previous lecture, my colleague Jan showed quite a lot of them. I want to dive really into, in this case, Valley as a case study. And if we have time, I also have brought the crystal houses with me. It can be interesting to show a little bit how we work. No, we really work in big teams, mostly with clients and advisors and so on. And no, we work a lot with scale models that we use. We do something on the screen. We have a presentation. We discuss many things. We are very much research driven. So for different topics, we test different scenarios and try to make sure that we get all the right information to judge whether a scenario is the right one or not. As said, now the sustainability is integrated, for which we use the UN Sustainable Development Goals. Of course, we do BREEAM, and of course we do LEED and all these other kind of accountant-like programs. They're good, it's useful, but in a way for architects, this isn't necessarily the right tool. The SDGs, they work much better for this. Of course, we develop also our own software and our own tools in order to calculate on certain things. No, the Carbonscape is one of them, and already at a very preliminary part of the design, so really at the stage of volumetric options, we can calculate what is the impact in carbon, and of course it has a bandwidth. But already then you can see that one option scores better than the other. These kind of tools we also use in this case to generate like a solar scape. So with all kinds of different ingredients, we test where is there space within the city to densify without bothering a lot of other residential parts. And we have MVRDV next, who's like an R&D department that is working non-stop on making all kinds of scripts and that kind of stuff that helps us test things easier and faster. But at the same time, we still use a lot of scale models, really old-fashioned foam. Definitely nowadays, it's rather easy to make a very nice render out of something. Problem is that even from a very bad design, you can make a very nice render. So it's not easy to judge spaces and compositions from a render. And with that, we still go to the old-fashioned scale models. And parametric design, of course, that works. I will show that to you later. And last but not least, the BIM and virtual reality that nowadays is a technology that helps us to work in a very complex environment in a very friendly way. The topic of today, like how do we see future cities? And I will address that based on the case study of Valley, but I need a bit of a theoretical intro in order to really go to the project itself. Of course, like in many other countries, there's a rather big pressure on the cities itself. No, there's a huge migration going, and there's a lot of demand for square meters there. At the same time, this is a picture from the Netherlands where at the end of the last century, we tried to build all kinds of areas like this, which are super low density housing areas where people live very happily, but it's not very sustainable. No, everybody has at least 2 cars because you need to go somewhere, then you always need a car. There's hardly any public transport. And it eats up all the green and all the nice natural spaces that we have. But if we think about the city, then this is an image that scares people. No, a city that is more or less growing and eating away, so to say, the green area. And then people think of high density cities as this. No, this is Hong Kong. It's real, not photoshopped, and people actually live here. And the interesting part is that it's not only in Hong Kong. No, it's all over Asia that you see these kind of types of buildings. And not only on the outside, they're similar. Also on the inside, they're very generic and very much the same. And if we ask people like, yeah, how would you want to live? No, what do you see? You always get this archetype kind of drawing with a pitched roof, no, with a chimney. Not the best to draw nowadays, but they still draw it. With a big front door, mostly no window, no, a fence, grass, a tree, a dog, and a car. No, that is what everybody has in mind as the dream they want to have. And then you wonder, like, if we want to do that, if that is the purpose of what we are building for, if that is what people want, can we still do that in a more dense way, more in a city way, so that we can take out the car in this sense, and that we can, the scale is working with the sustainability, let's say. And in 2000, we did this pavilion for the World Expo, in which we stacked the various Dutch landscapes. And we continue, we continue to ask ourselves questions like, why? This is porosity, a study that we did at the Technical University in Delft, here in the Netherlands. And we asked ourselves, why does a tower always look like this? No? Why do we start with this? We have one floor plan, and then you fill in somewhere, do me 20 or 30, and then your design is ready. No, why is that? And why is it that all of a sudden, right now, I know where you want to live? Actually, there are two spots. No, you can live either inside if you want a panoramic view, or you can live on top if you want to have a big terrace. But I assume none of you wants to live in the lower left corner of the building, right? So why? How come that if only from two pieces of Lego, these are all the different possibilities of connecting them, putting them together? How come we always use this one, right? And we got intrigued by that, and we look at the city as the future city, that it needs to be way more human. No, the scale is wrong of the current buildings. It needs to be porous, it needs to be accessible, it needs to be green, it needs to be for all kinds of different people. No, that's where the social part is also coming in. All these kind of things we see and we dream of, and together with the students in Delft, we came up with a variety of different concepts. How can you make towers that are different, that are doing something on the social level, on the sustainable level, rather than just being an extrusion? And within these different scenarios, within these concepts, you have, of course, a gradient. No, step 0 is you do nothing. And step 12 is that you have all the money in the world and a client that really wants to push the envelope, and everything in between. So where do you stop? Where can you go? And these different concepts and these different gradients, they make some kind of army of possibilities. And we were fortunate to get a lot of Lego, and we made all of them. Here you see a very polite tower making a bow to people. This is my personal favorite. Can you imagine a tower that has this pregnant belly that is there? And can you imagine what it's like if you live in this community and you are together here? Currently, we meet people in the elevator, and in the old days, we didn't know if you would say hi or not. Currently, everybody's looking at their phone, so you don't need to say hi anymore. But it also causes people to lay dead in their apartment for 4 months, and nobody noticed this. Nobody missed the person. Nobody had any idea that the person was even living there. And While the first series of these studies was very intuitive, we thought like, yeah, can we do it a bit smarter? No, can we use softwares like scripting tools in order to generate different types of models and help us with that? And for example, what would happen if you push the part of stairs completely through the roof? No, very complex schemes that I will not go into, but they generate then these kind of possibilities. And can you imagine that you live in like a stacked San Gimignano, where all kinds of staircases endlessly go up, and you get these kind of communities where you really live and be together, and where it's more than just an addition of square meters. And all of these different concepts, no, they came alive. And
no, that's not a lecture.
Sorry. And all these different concepts, they came alive, and they are different. Some are more going internally, some are more expressive on the outside. Some you get a limited part on which you can do architecture, and the rest should be old-fashioned, let's call it like that. And they're all different possibilities. And when I show these kind of things, then people always say like, yeah, it's super nice, but you do realize that it's never going to be built, like, right? This kind of thing. And we continue to dream, and we continue to push. And the good thing is that you can nowadays calculate more or less everything. So of course, everybody understands that this is the most standard, most economic structure to be built. And this is more complicated. No, this takes more input, more steel, and it will be more expensive, to the point where this is by far the most expensive one and the most complex. The good thing is that you can work on that, and you can study it, and you can see where are the things. And with the current technology, it doesn't really fly, but if you combine certain aspects, then things start to get interesting. Because I don't know if you ever wondered why a bird can fly. It has many reasons, but one of the main reasons is that the bone is extremely light. No, he only has tissues in the bone at that spots where it's really needed. And if you combine that with the technology that is now really in the lift for printing, 3D printing for either concrete or steel or many other materials, if you combine that, then you get these kind of weird shapes that they are doing at the ETH in Zurich, where they tested various types of making a floor and only using concrete exactly there where you really need it. The good thing is that apart from technological advantages, it's also incredibly beautiful. You get these things that you never had before, and with these kind of things, we think like, let's keep on pushing. Let's push the envelope of the technology. Let's try to really make it happen. Speaking of which, the question is, what about reality? Because is it a far dream, or is this porosity, this openness, this social interaction, is that far away? This is actually a closed courtyard block that we made in Madrid. And it's not a courtyard block anymore. We flipped it and we created this kind of, a courtyard, but then super high up. So you could look over the city, you could have a party here, you could hang out, you name it. It had different typologies with small streets like this, where again, you feel this community, you feel that you're part of this. There are barbecues inside here where there's like a street party for the people to really be there. This is in our hometown, Rotterdam, where we were asked to do a design for a market hall. And interestingly enough, the client came, let's do a plinth with 2 slabs on top of it with housing. We found it a bit boring, and we, at a certain point, we flipped the model. Like, can we do it the other way around? Can't the housing actually make the space for the market hall? And then, here you see the result. No, you see that with a private program, you can make something that is very public. And yeah, it's like a colorful explosion of food and people and liveliness that has never been seen before. But you can do this with private development. A bit a smaller scale, this is in The Hague, where we made 2 towers. And also here you see this attempt to break the big pattern and to come up with something that is more human and that you feel more at home and you can connect to a bit more. This is a bit bigger scale. This is a 160-meter high proposal for a tower. And here you see that we try to get the differentiation in. Already at the start or before the start of the lecture, when you asked if people could turn on the camera, you see that people are coming from different nationalities, different ways of life. Everybody is different. Yet we still make projects of 500 the same apartments. Why is that? I think it's impossible to find 500 people that are the same. So why can't we make more apartments that are differently oriented? No, an L shape, a panoramic one, a high one, a small one, a big one, and then mixed. Because if we mix the types of apartments, we also get a more mix of people, and a mixed city is something that is by far better for the city than anything else. And if we do that, if we try to make these spaces that are that have quality, yeah, you also need to connect it. And this is an attempt that we tried in Rotterdam, next to the central station that is here on the right. There's a monumental building that has a fantastic roof, but nobody ever came there because it's very complicated. You really need to know the route. And we, for a couple of weeks, we made a stair going there, and that literally changes your perspective. And then we started to dream further, like, yeah, this is the main warehouse in Rotterdam. No, can't we put something like that? No, trees on the roof, you can have a look, and you can access it actually. And from this, we started to get involved in the rooftop days that is actively pursuing the usage of the roof. And we started to make this loop. Then COVID struck and it got a bit delayed. Yet this spring, we had it completely open. We had this route over the roof. You see how much underutilized roofs there are. This is the city center of Rotterdam, and we don't use it. No, you see that with a very small intervention, you can have this realized, and it was there for 6 weeks only. So it's made out of scaffolding in order to be reusable, and yeah, everybody loved it. It was completely sold out. And we had a program there, and it was simply a destination in the city also to go to. At the same time, there was a request from the Dutch Architecture Institute to do something similar. And there we had this pavilion on top of the roof that was fully booked with all kinds of lectures, debates, concerts even. Trying to get this attention on the roofs, and literally like this, giving you a different perspective on the city. Last, this is Seoul, where the mayor took a very bold decision. He was a bit done with all the cars in the city center, and he closed off one of the main arteries there. And then he asked us, like, yeah, what to do with this piece of concrete that we have now. And we said, like, yeah, let's give it back to the people. Let's make a park out of this. Let's make some interesting places to go to. Let's add a program. Let's connect it to the various buildings that are there. And that actually turned to be super successful. Building owners came to us like, yeah, can we also get a bridge to our plot? Because the result is that the value of these 2 buildings, for example, which are connected to it rose enormously. There are reports from KPMG about the values of that, and you see that the investment costs at the start, so to do the project, they are completely nothing if you see what it did adding to the value of the buildings. And if you know this, and you know this up front, perhaps that is like a trigger in order to get the finances better in order. So there we are, with all that knowledge, with all that background that is in our head, in our DNA, so to say, we started to work on Valley. We made an enormous amount of options and different proposals. We don't have time to go through all of them today, so I only bring you the end result. And yeah, Valley was like many other projects that we get, a plinth with 3 towers on top. Quite often we get something either commercial or office or something, and then put 3 towers on top, and then we're done. And we thought, like, yeah, let's try to make this one a bit more sculptural. So the first thing we did was to make sure that the plinth and the towers became one. And we gave it a contextual facade, being in the central business district of Amsterdam, where you get all of these shiny, slick aluminium glass facades. So like, yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's put this facade around the outside. And then let's, for the housing, start to literally, we started to take out the foam from our model and scratched in this human scale, this part where you feel at home, where you understand again all of a sudden what to relate to. And we did that not only for the housing, but we took it all the way down, creating the valley itself, giving it name. And not only the shape is important, the scale of the shape, but also if you want to make like a small city, then definitely the program is important. So there's cultural program, there's food, there's beverage, those kind of things, services, all these kind of things. Important is also the grotto. If you want to go, for example, to the offices, you cannot go from the parking straight into the office. You will always need to go through the grotto, where also the people from the residential area are, because their packages and all of that kind of stuff is being delivered here. Of course, there's the valley, that is publicly accessible. In the Netherlands, we often eat a dry sandwich for lunch. A bit poor, but yeah, what to say, culture. And you can bring your dry sandwich here, or you get one in one of the shops or restaurants that is connected here. And of course, there's a sky bar, because the best place of a building should be accessible, we feel. You want to give something back to the city. It's very vital that we think about these kind of things as architects, that we add something rather than just only take away the plot of land and then build some of our own things there. You need to do something for the people and the city itself. The facade is quite specific. It starts, of course, like always, with the straight one. And then we push a bit in, we pull a bit out, and we added specials, which I will show you later. And we do this to create diversity and quality. For example, we can steer on the privacy with this one. We can make people look at each other or just turn away from each other. We can orient to the sun. Some parts you want to have more sun, some parts you want a bit less. And being at the ring road of Amsterdam, we also needed sometimes to put a shoulder against this heavy noise, making a window that is openable at night and you can still sleep. And of course, we do this in order to put the green on, being our dream, like that cities are like intensely more green, and then not only like a park or something, or not only like some small grass on top of the roof, but really green with trees and plants and like a park. And we got help of Piet Oudolf, who's a very famous landscape designer. He designed, for example, the High Line in New York. And he made a concept of gradients of plants in which the bottom is a bit more colorful and more blossoming, and the top starts to be more gray and more hard, which you also need at 100-meter height. And the nice thing for us is that we've been talking about green for a very long time. And now our client, who puts a lot of sensors in the building, they now get data out of these types of buildings where you can actually see that it's not only an investment to put green, but it really has a financial benefit for the people working there. At a certain point, now the client came to us, asked us like, how do we know that we got the right shape? And at that point, still together with Arab, we made some tools to check the solar hours, the solar load. Nice to have sun, but not too much. Things like terrace checkers, daylight, and all of these various sliders that we had, they generate different possibilities. And also these different possibilities create some kind of endless answer to the question. And only after the client at a certain point fixed the sliders, like I want this many small apartments, this many big apartments, I want this many terraces and so on, then we knew what to do. Question quite often is like, hey, how on earth did you get this built? No, it's such a complicated building, and how is it possible that it was actually realized? And the most important answer to that is the structure. It looks very wild. No, you see the floor plans jumping, going all the way, but the one thing that is always there is the core, and from the core we have the load-bearing walls. That's the technique in the Netherlands that is mostly used and is the cheapest in that sense. And this wall that is coming from the core is either longer or shorter depending on the floor edge. And that actually then turns into a beam also. And that is by far the easiest to construct. And even though it looks complicated, here you see a good line structure, and in this image you see it even more. It's a very straightforward structure, with a bit of a jagged edge for the floor, and that made it possible to actually get it built. And the super wild image we get from a couple of positions where we use what we called specials. The client allowed us to do 5% specials. And there we hung steel parts of a living room or a bedroom connected there to the main structure. And all of a sudden, after many months before I saw this one, I happened to stumble upon this, and I found it very interesting. Had no idea what it was, so I took a picture. But these are indeed the bracings needed for the specials to be hung to the concrete walls. We got quite some criticism after winning the competition. We ended up at failedarchitecture.com, where somebody wrote an essay. Afterwards, he won the National Essay Prize, I think, of the year. And he accused us of architectural pornography. Was very interesting. He said like, this is an MVRDV making some kind of super nice image, therefore winning the competition. But everybody understands that the reality will be straight. No, it will not be as green. There will not be green there. And it's almost like a lie. No, they cheat a bit and they win the competition. This is the render with which we won the competition. This is the BIM model that we had for building permit, and this is the matching render to go with that. And I think even though there are small differences here and there, which I know, but I think most people find it difficult to spot them. we made sure that throughout the process we kept the promise that we made. No? So we did a mock-up to test all kinds of connections and things, patterns. We tested green, we tested, and at the same time they were already building. Right, we could see these jagged floor edges coming in. We could see the towers go up, and yeah, now it's there. Now it's done, and it's integrating very nicely into its surroundings. The kids next to it are playing football again. Yeah, it's just a very nice place to be. You see these very different types of apartments. You see here also, the specials cantilevering out, giving this rather extreme image here and there. But on a basic level, remember the load-bearing walls, and that is actually quite a normal structure here in the Netherlands. The green is something that needs to grow. It is now, some parts of the green are in 2 years, other parts are in 1 year. It is growing, it is going quite okay, but it needs a bit of time in order to really grow to its full potential. And you see here the valley, and what is a valley without water? So we have a glass roof light that has water on top, and that roof light gives orientation and light into the grotto, the central space of the building. And also, the bridge is made out of glass, and in the night you get this very nice, almost village-like image, so to say. And yeah, like I said, there are nice times like blossoming, and here you see, this is a picture about a year ago, and you see that the green still needs to grow. We have these crazy patterns here and there. That work wonderful. You see how inviting it is to go up the stairs and to go there. I had a client the other day, and he said to me like, I live next to the building, and sometimes in the evening I sneak up there because I find it so beautiful. I smiled and I told him like, listen, you don't need to sneak up there. You can simply go. No, it's open for public. If you behave well, you can go there. You can go into the grotto. Everybody's happy that you're coming. No, don't worry about it. And there you see, this result of differentiation of different types of apartment, different people. Different types of program that are also there, this mini city that is there, the green, the variation in that. And in the end, we feel that that's what it's about, that not only the people, but also the buildings are actually a bit nicer to each other. Alex, help me out 1 second. I spend a lot of time going through Valley. I do have a second part, if you would like to. It's about transparency and
go on. It's perfect.
That is absolutely fine. We're not strict about timing.
Okay.
So
okay.
That's all right.
Sure. Then we continue, because we go from the very big dream. We also have other big dreams that we think like, hey, what if society gets more transparent? And then we don't only mean like politics, that they are more transparent, but what about if buildings can be transparent? How would that transform the world? How would that impact people to be in a transparent world? And we did a couple of small projects on that. This is a renovation of an office building in which everything that we put in was made out of glass. So the computer floor, the furniture, parts of walls and that kind of stuff. And intriguingly, it also shows a little bit about the dynamics of a building, about the plumbing, about all kinds of cables needed. And it gives a very different view, literally, on office life and on opening that up. And we dreamt about making a kitchen that is really transparent. And of course, there are machines in kitchens which we didn't get super transparent yet. Yeah, but all of a sudden we can look into your drawers and we can see if you're eating healthy and responsible and sustainable, no, or that you're hiding a couple of things that you shouldn't actually eat. And with that dream, we started looking at crystal houses. This is in the one of the main shopping streets in Amsterdam, which has this very unique character. No, what everybody knows of Amsterdam with the canals and so on. This character is also here, and our client has two parts of that, two different or connected plots. And he went to an architectural office and he asked, like, hey, can you make a project out of this? And they make this project. Client wanted one extra layer because zoning law allowed for that. And then the architect went to the beauty commission, to the city architect, and the guy said, no, that's really not fitting. Sorry, try something else. And he tried this design, had to go back to the city architect, and that again said, no, that's not a good idea. So yeah, colleagues made a different proposal, same story, architect said no. So yeah, they made this, and interestingly enough, architect said, okay, this is fine. But at that point, the client lost faith a little bit and was already in contact with us and asked us, like, hey, can you think about what to do with this shop front, with this window? And we said, like, okay, let's look at what is there, what was there. These are the old drawings of what was built at the time. And no, that looked like this. And now the current day is this. No, everybody took out the ground floor, put a lot of glass in it because it's a shop and you want to see inside. At the same time, this is the building envelope, no, something that we can build, and this is what you had originally. Can't we stretch that up? No, how can the beauty commission and the city architect be against that? Because it's the original design, only slightly bigger in scale. So yeah, let's go there. Let's do this. And we combined it with our dream of being more transparent. So can you more or less look through the shop and see the park that is behind it? No, can we do that? Is that a possibility? Yet then we had to go to the municipality and we had to go to the city architect. And he said, like, well, listen, this is what it is now. This is what I expected you to do. No? And then you did this. You didn't get it. No, it's a very monumental street, and we really want bricks. I said, yeah, but we have bricks. No, we can make glass bricks. And they said, no, you need to have bricks from clay. And we ended up in a discussion on how much brick is there actually in that part. No, it looks like a lot, but percentage-wise, it's not that much. So we started to negotiate, like, what if we put all the brick in the top? Yeah, not the best. No, how much brick do we actually need? And yeah, we were struggling and trying to find ways in order to get part of this transparent dream to become a reality. And at the same time have enough brick for the beauty commission to say yes. And in the end, we agreed to make this, which was very nice, because by the time we got approval from the city architect, this was the situation already. So the building was actually demolished, and contractor was starting on the basement. Yet we had no idea how to make the facade. It was a very interesting period, and we were looking like, yeah, what to do? No, should we make it from plexi? Well, not really. Resin, yeah, not transparent enough. We did this interesting test in which we poured molten glass over bricks that we put in the sand. the result is very beautiful, yet it is not super transparent, and at the same time, no, you get joints that we didn't like. And then somewhere on the internet we found this, like a glass brick. Some had a color, and some of them didn't have. And they intrigued us, like, yeah, can we do something with this? And we called the Italian company Poesia, and they said, like, yeah, we actually make them for interior use, right? This is more like an art piece that an interior architect orders, and mostly we sell 2 or 3 of them. And we asked them if they could do transparent, and they said yes. So we got that part solved. Then we got stuck in the glue part, actually thinking, like, yeah, how to get them connected. And you see that, yeah, all of a sudden it becomes an incredible mess. And also the transparent, if the glass is transparent, the glue needs to be transparent. But yeah, it was going all over the place. And this was our client. No, he was very enthusiastic having us doing this design. Yet we found at the TU Delft, we found researchers who could help us with a specific kind of glue that would harden under UV light, and that would actually do the trick. It could really, for the first time, we had parts which structurally also worked. And then we went to Poesia, because yeah, how these bricks are made, how does it work? And like everything in glass, no, it's done with ovens and molten glass. And then here you see one of the most important guys of the project, and he's the one with the scissor. So the glass is coming, and it's poured, and he's waiting for the right time, and then exactly at the right time he needs to cut. Because otherwise you get either too little or too much glass into this mold. And then, yeah, it's all manual work, and you get this like glowing brick that has a bit of a pineapple or an orange-like skin. And then they sand it completely to the part where it becomes this. And even though the tolerance between the bricks was 0.2 millimeters, they were all completely checked on exactly the size, because the minus 0.2 millimeters was in one layer, and the minus 0.1 millimeter was in a different layer, in order to get all these joints well. We did have a final issue that was with the air in the glue. If you get air in between, then it's not transparent anymore, which is a problem. And for that, the guys from the TU Delft, they developed this kind of mold that has exactly the right amount of glue to cover everything. So there's no air bubble, yet it doesn't go out also. And then finally, well, we had something that structurally worked and also was transparent, like we envisioned, which was very nice, because at that moment, the building for the rest was done. Everybody was okay, and everybody left and was waiting for the facade. And then, yeah, finally the assembly came. And no, it was done in, yeah, more or less laboratory kind of situation, where one layer at a time was actually built, where some prefabricated parts came in, which has these beautiful details, and making sure that we built as it used to be, only then in a modern version. And no, the gradient where the bricks are put in with a specific kind of cement-like joint. And then no, we not only wanted to do the bricks from glass, but also the frameworks, because yeah, the whole facade is made out of glass. Yeah, then you also need to do that. And yeah, together with the manufacturer in the UK, actually, we managed to do this. And we got these kind of parts that we could use for the frameworks. And yeah, in the end, they generate this, where you lose a bit track of inside, outside framework, brick. And then it was time for the unveiling. No, we promised to make this. The reality was this. And now you see, this was for the opening, and you see the Chanel logo on top of it. Everybody was extremely enthusiastic that we could make something for Chanel, while the reality is that we didn't. No, we made it for the owner of the shop, and yeah, Chanel turned out to be a tenant. For us, it was very interesting because it generated a lot of PR. No, it went viral. And interestingly enough, no, we at a certain point we called Chanel, like, hey, no, things are going well in Amsterdam. No, should we have a talk? Perhaps you have more shops that we can have a look at. And they said no. They had no idea who we were and what we were doing. And then after a month, they called us back because by that time it went so incredibly viral that even they understood that this was a special thing. And then they called us like, yeah, let's sit down and talk. Because yeah, it is a very refreshing way of looking at it. No, it is extremely transparent. It shows what you want, while at the same time it's a very traditional, respectful way. No, it fakes out the difference between inside and outside. No, also from the inside, the result is different. And yeah, what is this? Is this a picture from the inside or from the outside? Right? It's just difficult to see. And not only during the day, it's very nice, but also in the evening. No, it turns to be kind of like a lantern, and then not only the window itself, but the building as a whole shines and radiates to the street. And then the users come. No, because in the end, that's what you make a building for people to actually use it. And you see that people come and all they do is the same. They touch what is this? No, is it plastic? No, it's glass. Is it real? Is it really happening? And no, you see all these kind of things. This is one of our founding partners inspecting it. And of course, no, everybody in Amsterdam is on a bike. So groups of bikes pass by. And yeah, in the end, you create this like a new way of looking at things, a new way of looking at shop fronts. And yeah, the reason why I show you this is that even dreams that are very big and very powerful, they start with examples of testing, and you should simply start with dreaming and start with executing them. And you'll be surprised if you're very persistent, and if you're pushing very much, you'll be surprised of all the possibilities we have to get them realized. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
You are
very
really
much.
proud of these projects, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
They're
visible.
different but amazing.
It's visible, and we feel it definitely.
Okay, good.
Even
Are there
I-
questions? What can we talk about?
Yes, of course. There are a few questions in the chat already. Let me read the first one for you. So, are you worried about current students prioritizing digital forms of design processes over traditional hand drawing and modeling to enable creativity? What do you think?
Worried is not the right thing. Let's say I work differently. My intuitive part is in a pen and a sketch. And I tend to think before I do something. And I see, we have a lot of young people in the office, and I see that the first, after you tell them that you have a question, the first thing they do is they open Rhino and they start to make something. And yeah, it's a different way of working, while I would still encourage them to sit down and think first. In the end, of course, a lot needs to happen, and the way that we can make a project like Valley is because there are so many people good in computer programs and making them actually a reality. So it's a bit of both. No, you need this super well organized computer skills, yet at the same time you need time to think about what you're doing, not simply start doing something.
Thank you so much. Yeah, there is another question, and one of them were probably through the while you were presenting the valley, and it asked, is there any problems during the construction process, or were there any problems? But you've already probably responded on that during the presentation. So thank you so much for the question, though.
Yeah, well, the interestingly, because it's an extremely complicated building, at least it looks like that. Apart from a problem in the foundation, which was like a general problem and could have been any project, there were no issues. No, everything was incredibly well organized, also by the contractor who really worked with Revit and BIM, and we were involved also. No, at a certain point he came to us, told us like, yeah, I have a problem with the tiling of the natural stone facade. I don't know how to really make this. And said like, yeah, okay, well, we can script it for you. Right, so we made a script and we developed the whole facade, and that file actually went to the supplier in Spain, who used it straight in his machines to actually get it done. So yeah, all these kind of things, they really help getting the complexity in order.
So it speed up the process, yeah, in general of everything, and reduce the mistakes, yeah.
Yeah, it speeds up the process and it allows you to make more complicated buildings nowadays. Oh, because wow. Yeah, like 10 years ago, this would have been extremely difficult to make, even to design. If you don't have the 3D tools to see that if I pull your terrace a bit inwards, then my kitchen is leaking, right? I don't have a roof anymore. And yeah, in Revit, in 3D, that kind of issues are instantly visible.
Because you wrote even a code, yeah, if I'm not wrong, for the tiles, yeah, how they need to be cut and how they need to be assembled. There were 40,000 of them, yeah, if I'm not wrong.
So that's the whole script about that.
Yeah.
The instructions from the beginning till the end, from the scratch.
Beginning to the end is a bit too much. The beginning until, let's say, 80%. Because it has a lot of different shapes and stuff, and we figured out that we could better focus on, let's say, doing the last 20% manually, because you would never arrive at 100%, because it's an irregular pattern, and there's nothing more complex than an irregular pattern because it has no rules. So yeah, the last part was manual work.
I wanted to ask one question from my side, because you are MVRDV, I think, especially your projects look like, or they behave as like the next sketch model, you know, your results, this is just a process of the next building, and the whole presentation and how you talk about this, and the Y factory as well, that you learn from the previous ones. And the question here, do you think that the valley is kind of just the next step, or maybe it's the end of some era, let's say?
No, I think the valley is just the beginning. Okay. What we try to show and to prove is that you can make a more densified city without touching the qualities that people want to have. So you want to feel at home. No, you want to have green around. You want to have a terrace that you can actually have, I don't know, a barbecue, or that you sit with your friends at the table, and that it fits also. No, because these super small balconies that you get everywhere, yeah, they're completely useless. No, you put your garbage bag there, and then that's it. And we feel that this is really a next level way of thinking, a next step. That shows that you can make a very big a large amount of square meters in a very nice and human way, because the valley is 75,000 square meters. That's really, really a lot. Yet at the same time, when you walk there and it feels so normal and so natural, and that concept, this is just the first one, and then now from here we go and we improve and we strengthen it, because we designed Valley in 2016, If we would start a valley today, it would be different. Because first of all, we would not use as much concrete as we did before, right? It is very intriguing, and we get quite a lot of criticism on Valley that is not sustainable enough. Yet at the time that it was designed, it had a negative energy consumption, no? So it generated more energy than it would use. We had all kinds of sustainable things. Everything was integrated. Yet we did use a lot of concrete because in 2016 this was not the biggest issue at the point. So during the time that it was developed and built, you see that the perspective we all have on sustainability, that is day and night difference, no? And that's why I started by saying also, like, yeah, it used to be something that was also important, and now it is the only thing that is important.
So what's the next step, let's say, from the valley? Like if you get the 3 points in the next building where when you got the design, let's say a skyscraper, and you, let's say unlimited budget, fast, probably almost in this case, yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's say if you want to do a skyscraper because you are really in the city center, no, then wood is not the best option. You cannot like a full wood thing. No, it is conceptually very interesting, and we would love to do one. But financially, it's not. No, you get columns that are so big that you lose too many square meters, and there's also so much wood going. So it will always be a hybrid. But you can use these kind of structures in a better way, in a different way. Wood can be added more, and the concrete that we use now needs to be carbon neutral. And currently, that doesn't really exist yet. We are working hard on that. We're now working on a pavilion in a natural area here in the Netherlands that we really want to prove that carbon neutral concrete can be made. And yeah, that would be a very interesting step, and we need to do it on a small scale first in order to get to the bigger scale afterwards.
Step by step, yeah.
Yeah.
As you presented. There are some next questions. How do you relate our present and future community housing or public spaces around 200 years from now? Oof, difficult.
Yeah. Well, what we notice is that over the last long period, contractors have pushed us time and again to make things more modular, more like a catalog, more the same, more everything needs to be the same because otherwise it cannot be built. Yet at the same time, no, the society becomes more aware of being diverse, right? So that ranges from all aspects of the world. Yet we make something that is more generic and more prefabricated and more the same, and it's for an increasing building cost, and it doesn't make sense. No, it doesn't make sense that we embrace diversity and yet we build everything the same. Because if people are different, then they also have different demands. And in this current technology time, I really think that we can do way better and way more diverse without being more expensive. You just need to think harder, definitely upfront, right?
Yeah, sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I think that the human scale and the social spaces, they really will become more and more important. Definitely in this era that is coming, that is way more digital. No, already now it's quite a digital world. We are doing this digitally, but the metaverse is coming, right? And that will skyrocket the digital world even. But the human part, I think, will always be essential and will always win over the digital world.
Have you started discussing in the office metaverse and these issues?
Yeah, it's very complicated.
It is.
I checked one of the, I think it was from 1995. when Bill Gates was explaining in a talk show what internet was. It's hilarious if you see this now. No?
But I feel like exactly the same as probably 95, you know, now. For me, like it's still like unknown. Okay, I get the idea, but okay, how it can be used and what the positives of it.
Yeah, so you're gonna pay €100 for digital shoes?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No, yet you will.
Exactly.
In the end, no, that's it is coming, and we are working on it. We have a couple of clients that are interested in this. Yet at the same time, we feel that if we do this, it shouldn't be about the regular building. No, it should really be something that pushes the envelope of what we dream of. Because it, for example, doesn't have gravity or something, right? You can cheat a little bit, and then it doesn't need to be waterproof because it doesn't rain in the metaverse. Cool, right? So if you use it like that, and then you can really push the boundary, then it becomes interesting.
I agree. Okay, let's get back to Earth, I think, because the questions are coming up.
There is another one, a long one, coming from Mohammed as well. I would like to ask first if he would like to ask the question himself. Or if no, I can read it. Oh, hi, Mohammed.
Hello. Yeah, I don't mind. I just want to say the Valley project is really brilliant, and I'll just read the question. The narrative generates, the architecture generates narrative and relationships that resonates between individual inspiration and the public narrative. Now, how do you think architecture buildings should allow for space for change when trying to satisfy the public narrative of a newer generation?
Interesting question. There's always like a tension between the individual part and the public part, right? And with the fact of wanting to have control over something, the way it looks, and about individual impact and influence. To give you a small example, the gardens in Valley are completely planned, and the landscape architect to the last plan said exactly how many, where, and how and what. So the people living there, they had to sign an agreement that they wouldn't change it. And on the one hand, that's good, right? On the one hand, no, the concept and the overall image stays cool. On the other hand, I think like, yeah, wouldn't you plant something in yourself? No, some species that you would like. And is the building going to be less important, less nice if somebody does that? So we try to create buildings that are on the one hand powerful enough in order to deal with these kind of individual expressions and changes made due to different times. And the individual and the public, that is always a balance that we are researching. No, you want to feel at home, you want to have it your space, and yet at the same time you want to accomplish something with the building as a whole. One does not automatically exclude the other. No, if you look, for example, in the market hall, where you see this shape on the inside, and the artwork that is there, so you can live in the tulip. No, the red tulip there up. No, you point out that's my bedroom, man. No, that's where I sleep, and that harmonizes, let's say, the individual part as well as the public part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was great. And there are a few more questions. All right. Next one is about the Roman concrete. So what do you think of a type of concrete like Roman concrete, and is Roman concrete more sustainable than modern cement?
Well, the cement is a problem. No, the carbon is coming from the cement, and that is the carbon is the part that is killing the earth mostly. So we cannot continue with that in the way we did before. We need something different. And just like the Romans had a different type, they didn't have cement, but they used something else as a glue in between. I think also in the coming period, we will be looking for different types of glue in that sense. So yeah, definitely a very, very interesting topic to go to the zero carbon concrete.
Okay,
Or...
sorry, I thought that you selected Irina. Continue.
All right, I'll read that for you then. When designing such a complex project like Valley, I assume, where all apartments are different, how do you make sure that all the apartments are comfortable to live in? Is it maybe controlled and generated by digital programs?
Yeah, that is something that we misjudged ourselves also. No, because you look at the project and you look at it and you think like, oh, that's going to be a complicated one. No, and then you start, and then it turns out to be extremely more complicated than you ever imagined could be. Because one part that is there, that the shape is different. So you need to redesign every apartment that you look at. The other part is that the shafts, they need to continue. So what in your apartment is a good position for a shaft is in my apartment really not a good position for a shaft, right? And that complexity is really piling up. And we spent literally months working on the floor plans, trying to get everything in. And the main thing is always the installation of it, right? The technical part. Because yeah, the bedroom can be a bit smaller and a bit larger. That you will always figure out. But yeah, the piping is really that was really a nightmare to get that all in order. But yeah, we literally worked for months on it. And yeah, it's interesting to get this question because quite often we get a lot of people that want to work with us because they think life is amazing. And we walk around with a piece of sketch paper and a thick pen the whole day. Reality is like completely different. No, Valley we worked on for 7 years. For 7 years, I was working every week, almost the whole week on the project, right? And now I run the studio, so no, I'm responsible for a couple of people, and I still remember at a certain point people came to me and said, "Yeah, well, listen, I've been working on the floor plans now for the last 4 weeks, right? Yeah, yeah." I think I understand how it works. I'm a bit done now. Can I work on something else? No, no, we need to finish the project. No, it takes so much, perseverance to get these complicated things built. And yeah, the floor plans is really one of the examples. Yeah, takes a lot of time and energy.
And I assume you also work in the same way, yeah? You also work on these plans and you work in the softwares and things like this, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Now we use the software a lot and it helps really enormously. But yeah, you still need to work. No, the software doesn't do anything for you. It just shows you something.
Do you think would it be possible to be built without, let's say, BIM, for example?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Just a simple question, simple answer. That was neat.
Yeah. Very strategic point.
Next question, I think that is also important for the students. What is the advice for the future?
To never give up, I would say.
To work during weekends, yeah, 7 days a week, and for
No. That's not what I said. Because yeah, sometimes we work 7 days, and then you get tired, and then first of all you completely ruin your own life, and if you're tired at a certain point, no, there are many research that prove that at the end of 14 hours work, after a while, you do the same as 8 hours being rested. So yeah, the excessive overtime is really not something that we have in mind. Of course, in a competition or during a phase, sometimes you have a peak, but after a peak, you should always go down. But what I mean is never give up. There will always be people to tell you that something is not possible, right? If you have a dream and you want something, there are always people say, no, yeah, because you want something different. And it can be like a structural engineer that says like, no, mostly it's a contractor that says, no, I always do it like this. Oh, cool, then you're going to learn something on this project because we're going to do it differently, right? And you need to get this mindset that if you get this long enough, like I'm a bit older and I have long enough that people say no to me every day, every moment of the day, I just don't get bothered by it anymore. I see no as a temporary answer. You just didn't fully let me finish my sentence. So let me explain to you why we're going to do it like this. And I tell the contractors also, as long as I think it's possible, it's possible. No? So either you convince me that it's not possible, no? Once in a while happens, and then we solve it in a different way. But until I think it's possible, then we're going to do it like that. So this perseverance and this really pushing and endlessly pushing, no, you saw that also in the crystal houses. That doesn't happen if you stop at the 10th time somebody says, no, it's not possible. No, you never give up.
So we need to be optimists, yeah?
Always.
Okay.
Always.
Good. Do you have still time for the next questions?
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
okay.
go.
There are thank you so much. All right. Another question. Actually, it's a very simple one. What is your favorite aspect of the valley overall?
I think the human scale. The part where it is so much close to you and it feels, let's say, natural, even though it is fighting gravity. Let's say that part, that human part, I think is the best thing on the project.
There are very few, I think, let's say skyscrapers, as we can call it. I think that actually solve it, yeah, like in a nice way. So
they're usually overwhelming. They're like too much.
Yeah,
too
high.
Much of a contrast.
Yeah, they're simply high, which is also nice, but yeah, they're not enough.
Yeah.
And how it is with wind in the valley, out of curiosity?
Well, it's very nice.
Okay.
Because all these different angles, they break it, they are different. And because we didn't make a block like we could have, but we opened it up into 3 towers. Now the wind is going a little bit through and not having this enormous vortex, let's say, at a certain point.
And on the
so
it doesn't swear this, yeah? Kind of rotate.
Not at all.
So you also solved with the aerodynamics of the building.
Yeah, from the very beginning, that was a very big worry that indeed somewhere a vortex would come, or later on for the natural stone tiles, no, they had to calculate because you always have corners that have so much wind, either positive or negative wind, that they might break the natural stone. Yet here we never encountered that problem anywhere. So the facade is everywhere the same thickness, which for a natural stone normally doesn't happen.
All right, thank you. All right, and yeah, one more question, and from what can I see is one of the last. Yeah. Were there many projects from residential area where clients wanted to prioritize more on economic part than on the comfort one? And did you try to persuade them to go on a better path, or simply refused those projects?
Interesting question. we quite often know, because Valley is very nice, but it's also a bit threatening to clients. No, they think like, oh, you only do this? No, not with me, right? And of course, we don't only do this, and we also do small projects. Like I show you the crystal houses, the smallest one we did. And if we talk with clients, it's never about how big is something or how small or something. It's always about ambition. What do you want? No, what do you dream of? What can we do for you? And if you have the ambition to make a next step, then we're going to be your partner. If you say like, I simply want this anonymous extrusion, well, go to find somebody else. No, they will do it faster, cheaper by far, and you will not end up in a fight with me every day of the week because we just don't want to do something, right? The financial reality is something that we also struggle with, right? Because people say, I was in Warsaw the other day for a lecture, and then people said like, very nice that you can make this project, no, Valley. Yeah, we cannot, of course. Why not? Yeah, we don't have that client. Yeah, okay, nice. We have a very good client. No, Edge really gave us a lot of space to do this, but Edge is a commercial developer, meaning they need to earn money. That's their business. No, they develop buildings and they earn money on that, which is fine actually. So if Excel says no, we have a render on the wall where it's not going to get built. So our goal is always to get something built, and therefore you need to make sure that you have a way where you add value, so to say, right? Also in Valley, we had moments where we were, a third tower crane had to be added to the project, and instantly we lost €1 million. These things are extremely expensive. And the client said like, I will take out the bottom part of the soffits, the natural stone there. No, we don't have money for it anymore. Then you struggle, right? And then we made an agreement with the client, like, what do you need? No, can we build you more square meters, for example? No, what if we make the grotto slightly smaller? No new elevator, no extra toilets, no nothing, just more square meters that you can sell and that you can rent. And in that way, we try to get the balance in the right position. And you saw the ceilings are back in natural stone again. So it is not only about what things cost, but also how much money they generate.
This client was one of a kind, or you see the change in mindsets of developers of clients?
It's a process, right? It's a process. Sometimes because a client is never a client. No, it's always the people that from the developer, and some are more experienced, some are less experienced, some listen, some never listen. Then they could have been a priest or something. But in a way, you go through this process. We show things that shock them. No, that they and you check which is the moment that they get a heart attack, and then you try to be slightly less than that.
Because I need to say that. As I know that not many of you may know, but I'm sure Irina will send you the project that happened in Poland, and I get really good perspective. And I need to say that first of all, you have changed the city, that fully, and it's not only the city, but you get huge influence on the whole architecture in Poland, because you finally allowed to realize that architecture has value. For the people, also for the clients, for the developers, and the new path was created in Poland, and I'm really thankful for that, because it creates a new perspective completely, and that's something beautiful. which
Nice, you
doesn't
can
happen.
say that in person.
Yeah, so I'm sorry.
You can say that in person to the,
Yeah,
to the architecture actually developed.
I get to.
One of the influential thing in the town. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, yeah, it's nice. Baltic is a nice project. Absolutely, absolutely. And also there, no, you see this part where you have an ambitious client that wants to change the world. That doesn't mean that you change everything and it's going to be valley. No, not of course not. But yeah, the result that we managed there, yeah, that changed indeed the way people are looking at architecture in general in Poland, except Warsaw. I'm very unhappy with Warsaw.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we building all these glass boxes in Warsaw?
I think that's a different discussion. That needs to be a symposium about this, because that's changing. It's
that's
different
the next
perspective
level already.
Yeah,
that's a debate.
All right.
Debate. Maybe the last questions. Have you ever rejected a project?
Yeah. Quite a lot. We are fortunate that we get many requests, and with that we can choose here and there. But like I said before, we decline based on lack of ambition. If the ambition doesn't fit, then it's going to be a struggle like hell. No, and not only for us, but also for the client, because we're not so easy in that sense. No, we want what we want.
Always ambitious, yeah.
Always ambitious, and that doesn't say anything about the result. No, it's never fixed what it should be, but it needs to be ambitious. You need to want to do the next level thing, whatever that is.
And do you have any aim for us now? You are director of Design Studio 8, yeah, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
What is your aim for the next few years, maybe?
We want to push the sustainable part really completely through the roof. No, right now you see sometimes in architecture that's a bit of a problematic thing that we now all of a sudden need to do. I think as long as you look at it like that, you will always lose. No, it will always be like a compromise between what you really wanted and what sustainability, and so you do both in a compromised way. I think we need to simply accept and embrace sustainability as also a way of looking at it for the new, like a new era. And if you start and finish with sustainability, then the possibilities that what you can do are ever changing, and it becomes so interesting to see then what. No, for example, existing buildings. No, not so long ago we would let's delete. No, let's start all over again, and let's try to build something that we think is nice. And now, whatever we do, we don't demolish the building. No, we try to see how we can integrate it, and that generates like Tripolis generates really fantastic projects that 20 years ago we wouldn't have done it like that. No, that also the client would then have already demolished it. So everywhere you have possibilities, and in sustainability definitely.
That's a new word to explore, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably the best of the advices regarding the already existing architecture. It can be helped, it can be reconverted, it can be solved, but yeah, the less sustainable is to be destroyed and to be wiped. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that lesson. And probably this is one of the things our tutors also are trying to highlight when we are on the process in the process of developing a new project. So
we don't have a choice.
Yeah, definitely.
But being optimistic will solve it. Yeah. That's what we learned.
Yeah, it's an opportunity. It's good that you don't have a choice, but it's an opportunity.
Exactly. Thank you so much. It was a really great pleasure, and thank you for being so passionate about this. Even although you probably talked about this 100 times, it was amazing to hear your passion for architecture and for the projects that you have done. So
and
thank you so much
for the conversation, for the dialogues, for the Q&A session. It was a long but a good one, and no worries about the time overlapping and so on. That was great.
All right.
You got any questions now?
Thank you.
Yeah.
No. Thank you for having me. It was very nice.
Thank you, and have a nice evening, everyone.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you
Bye.
for keeping in touch. Thank you. Have a good day.